Everyone is starting to be left speechless after it's being reported that David is not a suspect for the passing of Celeste Riva.
There are some things that, and I'm talking physical evidence that was at that house that is, there could have been greater plans as far as getting rid of her. And it's scary, sadistic stuff. And that's why we're trying to learn more about that. I wish I could say more, but for obvious reasons I can't. But it doesn't have to do with how she died, but maybe how they were planning on ultimately getting rid of her, and how maybe that Tesla was just a holding spot at time, and things just, their timing was just off as far as getting this done. But there's a few things that we're just like, will blow your mind. There are some other items that were found at the house that weren't taken during the search warrant. And, search warrants are limited, right? That they can't just go take everything. It's what the judge, and we don't know how broad that search warrant was because we haven't seen it, and that's what we'd like to see. But there were some things that were not taken into custody of LAPD that we think are significant, and including digital media.
Defense attorney. Totally. And so I just think when we ultimately are told, at least what prosecutors believe the theory is on how the body ended up in the car, we're going to say, oh my God, it's going to be a wild story.
There could have been greater plans as far as getting rid of her, and it's scary, sadistic stuff. I mean, it comes very close to the camera. You can see the person, and you can see what they're wearing, something pretty distinctive, and there's photos 12 hours earlier, a person at the house wearing the same thing.
It's controversial of kids.
Private investigator Steve Fisher just dropped a jaw-dropping bombshell. He claims he's got actual footage from July 29th. The last time David Tesla's car was seen being moved before he left for tour. What's chilling is Fisher believes Celeste's body might have already been inside that car when it was relocated. But wait, it gets even darker. Fisher says he's identified the mystery driver caught on that footage. And that's not even the wildest part. His findings reveal a hidden second property, a secret luxury rental David allegedly used to keep Celeste completely isolated. Investigators now think that's where the tragedy really went down, and insiders are whispering that an arrest warrant could drop any moment now. This case just turned sinister. Fisher's deep dive uncovered alleged plans to hide or destroy Celeste's body, the kind of disturbing details that reportedly left even veteran detectives shaken. This isn't internet gossip. Fisher swears he's holding on to hard evidence of what was about to happen next. Here's where things get even messier. The owner of David's flashy Hollywood Hills rental had no clue his property would be tied to something this dark. Once news broke about the body being found in the musician's car, the owner wasted no time. He brought in Fisher himself to get to the truth, not just to protect his property's name, but also its multi-million-dollar value. And trust me, Fisher delivered big time.
And I think could be key in this is that there's only one key to that house, and who had that, and who had access to it, and who was in it. Because we also have evidence that while David was on tour at the time between the Tesla being found and the search warrant being served, David was on tour, but somebody was in that house. And there was actually a report made, not with police, but that homeowner association has a robust private security company, and we've gotten videos from them and reports. And so who had that key is probably the same person that, had access to the test.
Home is where David was living, although he does not own the home. LAPD investigators served a search warrant here last night, collecting evidence. Right now, however, this is only being called a death investigation and not a homicide. And we're told that is because the LA County Medical Examiner's Office is still working to determine how exactly this teen girl. Video shows crime scene investigators carrying out a laptop and other items from this home on Doheny Place. That's possible evidence. Police remaining very tight-lipped about the investigation. One neighbor we spoke to remembers seeing that distinct Tesla for a while. First, parked in front of the house police searched, and then at two different spots along the street.
It's a little weird to see a car that I haven't seen here for a long time. Had a big dent on it, had a Texas plate on it. So all of...
Steve Fisher didn't just play detective. He went full-on forensic like a real-life FBI agent. He exposed how the police allegedly missed key evidence during their first sweep of the property. According to him, the homeowner later discovered items that should have been bagged and tagged. Things like sharp tools, strange chemical agents, and other sketchy materials that screamed cleanup attempt. Fisher's findings paint a dark picture. He believes David and whoever was working with him had sick, calculated plans to erase every trace of Celeste's body. Just thinking about it sends chills down your spine. But here's the question that's got everyone confused. If this evidence is as real as Fisher claims, why haven't the cops made a move yet? Could someone powerful be pulling strings behind the scenes, trying to bury what really happened? Because the deeper this goes, the more it starts to look like something way bigger than just one artist and one tragedy, and it gets even crazier. Fisher says the entire situation surrounding Tesla doesn't make sense at all. In his latest video, he broke down how that last car movement looked rushed, panicked, like someone was desperate to get it out of sight fast. And honestly, that tracks. I mean, who would leave someone they were close to, or possibly controlling, locked in the trunk of a car registered in their own name? That body was never supposed to stay there. From what Fisher uncovered, it seems they planned to dispose of Celeste's body before the tour kicked off. But the sudden rush to hit the road threw everything off.
Tesla was left there. He literally immediately started the tour. There was a tour bus that was leased, and I'll tell you that Tesla was moved and literally a bus departed.
So when the crew packed up and left, the one thing they didn't manage to hide was sitting right there in plain sight, inside that Tesla. And the wildest part? Fisher wasn't done digging yet. Fisher went full-on detective mode, like something straight out of a crime thriller. He started knocking on doors all over the Hollywood Hills, asking nearby homeowners if they had any security footage from July 29th. And get this, he actually found crystal clear CCTV showing David Tesla's car being moved that very morning. The timing lines up perfectly, just hours before David's tour bus rolled up to leave town. In that footage, Fisher claims he clearly identified the person behind the wheel of David's Tesla. But here's where things start to get strange. The driver had every single window rolled down, and there was no air freshener hanging inside the car at that time. Yet when investigators later impounded the vehicle, they spotted a brand new air freshener swinging from the mirror. So what changed between those moments? Fisher even checked the weather. It was around 78 degrees Fahrenheit that day, about 26 degrees Celsius. A warm, sunny LA morning. Not unbearable, but warm enough that if something inside that car smelled wrong, rolling the windows down would make sense. But what if it wasn't just about the heat? What if the driver was trying to cover something up? That's the part sending chills through everyone online. Internet sleuths are already deep in debate. Some say by the time the Tesla was moved, Celeste's body might have already been in the trunk, and the driver realized something wasn't right.
Car driven to that spot, and with the dates, with the date that it was, and they left town right after that. I'm certain that's the last time the car was driven. It was put there with her, in the front trunk.
And there's one weird detail about what you could, well, there's a lot of weird details, and I'm going to get to what you saw through the driver's side window in a second, but there was an air freshener that was found in the car at this point that we see on our screen, where it was abandoned. Was that air freshener also hanging from the rearview mirror when it drove off from David's house?
It wasn't, but the window was half to 3/4 of the way down, which is odd because it was a very short drive. And also at that on that day, this is the very end of July 29th, it was like 78 degrees at that time in the morning, or 77 degrees. And if it was on the street where the house is, so it's shaded by the house. So, if you're going to, I don't know why the window would be rolled down unless there's something, offensive there. And then all of a sudden.
Others think it was a calculated cleanup, a mission to move evidence before anyone noticed. Either way, this new footage could be the key puzzle piece that finally blows the whole case wide open. According to reports, Fisher's already turned over the footage and the driver's identity to law enforcement. And now everyone's holding their breath, waiting for the next move. Could this finally be the break investigators need to make an arrest? Even Fisher himself hinted that police are being extremely careful, double-checking every single lead before taking that next big step. This could be it, the breakthrough that blows the whole case wide open. Even though police are staying tight-lipped, whispers from people close to the situation say Steve Fisher isn't the only one digging. Another independent source has reportedly stepped up, claiming to have seen messages between David and one of his associates just days before Celeste vanished. Those texts allegedly hinted at a problem that needed to be handled before the tour began, and now everyone's wondering if that problem was Celeste herself. It gets darker. Insiders say that second rental property Fisher uncovered wasn't some random spot. It was allegedly leased under a shell company connected to David's own manager, which suggests this may not have been David acting alone. That's why the internet's buzzing with one big question. Is this case way bigger than anyone thought? And that's not even the craziest part. Neighbors living near that second property have come forward saying they caught a strong chemical odor coming from the garage just days before David skipped town. One resident even described it as bleach mixed with something burning, like someone was scrubbing down a massive mess. That single comment had fans spiraling, convinced something major went down inside that house. Meanwhile, Fisher reportedly secured timestamp footage from nearby homes showing David's Tesla being tailed by a black SUV on the morning of July 29th.
One of the first things I picked up on when the news first broke about the her being found, they were towing the car away from the impound lot to LAPD was, why on a $104,000 car is there a Christmas tree air freshener hanging from the, from the mirror? It seemed kind of odd to me, but I guess maybe they thought that would help, mask it for when they had to move the car again.
But talk to me about the date of this video, July 29th, and talk to me about what you saw. What did you see in terms of the identity of the person driving through that open window?
So it's very clearly that Tesla, one, because the Tesla has that tape on the rear spoiler for whatever reason. I don't know why it's there. And also, it was just like it is in that picture. It was that dirty, except you could tell that they had run the windshield wiper like once to clear the dirt away so they could see. And it comes very close to the camera, although there is some motion blur, but you can see the person and you can see what they're wearing something pretty distinctive. And there's photos that I have from 12 hours earlier, a person at the house wearing the same.
That detail alone changes everything. It means one of two things. Either David had help or someone was tracking him. Whichever it is, this twist flips the story completely. Even though investigators are still piecing everything together, this new evidence paints a chilling picture. One filled with hidden messages, chemical smells, and suspicious movements that scream cover-up. These puzzle pieces are starting to form something undeniable. This might not have been some random tragedy. It could have been carefully planned, executed, and buried by people who knew exactly what they were doing. And the wildest part? It's looking like those people might have been closer to David than anyone ever imagined. Sources are saying David's gone completely silent, like he vanished into thin air. No posts, no statements, nothing since the investigation blew up. And that silence speaks volumes. Whatever he's hiding, one thing's clear. He knows the walls are closing in fast. Now here's a strange twist that's got everyone talking. Steve Fisher revealed that there was supposedly only one key to David's rental property. Sounds like a small detail, right? But think about it. If there's just one key, only one person should have had access to that house. The homeowner even confirmed it himself. So how did other people manage to come and go while David was on tour? Some believe David might have cloned the key or made a quiet copy before he left town. But Fisher says there's something even sketchier. He found out that someone else was staying in that same house during the tour and even had access to David's Tesla. Who was this mystery person?
It was moved to that position. It was already like that. So that car had not been used in a very long time. It was super dirty, caked on dirt. I'll tell you, this was in late July. So it's bizarre because we also got media that the car was used a lot. David even spoke about it in Instagram videos. He took it to a detail shop and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, the very beginning of the year, that car, something happens, and that car's doesn't show up anymore. It's not used. It seems to disappear. And then that red Tesla learned, which we didn't know until the search warrant was served, that there's a red Tesla in the garage, which I can tell you was released on February 1st. I'll say the last photo that we have of Celeste is January 2nd, 2025.
Okay, now that's significant because we were wondering when, she was last seen alive. There was that surveillance footage of her seemingly running away from her neighborhood. And that
was September of 24, I believe. So
yeah.
We didn't have anything. We were like, where was this girl in 2025? But we do have a photo of her on July 2nd, early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025.
Nobody knows yet, but one thing's for sure. David wasn't handling everything by himself. Someone was clearly working behind the scenes, helping him keep the illusion going. Then things took an even darker turn. Fisher noticed that around January, David suddenly abandoned his black Tesla, the same car now tied to this entire case, and switched it out for a brand new red one instead. He claimed the black Tesla's registration and tags had expired. But let's be real, who just walks away from a six-figure luxury car like it's nothing? Especially when it's linked to something this serious. What's even more eerie, Fisher pointed out that everything started shifting right around that same time, January to February, which just so happens to be when the last known photos of Celeste surfaced. After that, she was gone. No posts, no appearances, nothing. So when you line up the timeline, David ditches the black Tesla, upgrades to a red one, and Celeste vanishes. It's hard not to wonder if that was the moment everything truly went off the rails. This whole thing paints a chilling picture. If what Fisher's hinting at turns out to be true, Celeste might have been gone since early in the year. That would mean her body was hidden for months before being found. And that idea alone is horrifying. But here's what's confusing everyone. How could a body last that long without completely decomposing? Investigators are reportedly still debating that very detail. And it's one more reason why this case keeps sending shockwaves through everyone following it. Fisher hasn't revealed who that mysterious driver was. And maybe that's actually for the best. The last thing police need right now is a full-blown media storm before they've even finished building their case. Still, every new piece of evidence just makes this whole thing even creepier. Now here's where the mystery deepens, and the connections start twisting in ways nobody expected. People online are now convinced David Tesla was secretly renting not one, but two luxury homes, both within minutes of each other in the Hollywood Hills. Fisher subtly hinted at this in one of his YouTube clips, but never spilled all the details. Then a tweet from him basically confirmed it. He believes Celeste Rivas actually died between January and February of 2025 inside a second rental property, located just a mile from where her body was eventually discovered. And that's not even the wildest part. Fisher also implied that one of David's close friends, a guy named Neo, might have been the one who moved the Tesla. That claim exploded online after a Reddit user dropped what looked like receipts and rental documents showing David had two active leases at the same time. One was his flashy Hollywood Hills home everyone knew about, and the other, the one fans are now chillingly calling Celeste's hideout. According to that viral Reddit thread, the second property was never even searched by police. And that's shocking considering it's practically on the same street where Celeste's body was found. Now fans are asking the question that's keeping everyone up at night. Was this the real scene of the crime? Did David use that hidden house to keep Celeste tucked away while he toured the country? The thought alone is beyond chilling. What's wild is how fans themselves started piecing everything together visually. They compared old photos and clips from Celeste's TikToks and live streams with real estate listings for that second rental. And it's a perfect match. The same floral paintings above the bed, the same marble kitchen counters, even the same lighting setup. Everything lines up exactly. In one old TikTok, Celeste is seen laughing in front of a huge floral painting. And that exact artwork shows up in listing photos for the secret property. That's no coincidence. And here's what makes it creepier. Both homes are ridiculously close. The drive from David's main Hollywood mansion to this hidden spot takes only 4 minutes. Plus, the location where the Tesla was spotted parked in late July, Bluebird Avenue, is just 3 minutes from the Doheny house. Every point on this map connects too neatly, like someone laid out the blueprint to a cover-up. So now everyone's wondering, if that second house was really the scene, why hasn't law enforcement locked it down yet? Something about this timeline just doesn't add up. As online sleuths keep digging, even more strange connections are bubbling up. And it's starting to look like David's inner circle might have been helping him keep the truth buried all along. Several users have even posted screenshots claiming to show large cash transfers from David to both his assistant and Neo, adding even more fuel to the fire surrounding this twisted mystery. During the exact same time, Celeste vanished. Money started moving, and the timing is just too suspicious to ignore. One of those payments was reportedly labeled maintenance, but people online are convinced that was just a slick code word for hush money. Meanwhile, locals living near that secret second property say that right after February, strange cars started showing up late at night. One neighbor even told reporters about a night when a white van pulled up, stayed less than 10 minutes, and then disappeared into the hills. Nobody thought twice about it back then, but now everyone's connecting the dots. Could that have been the night Celeste's body was moved? And it doesn't stop there. surveillance footage from a small convenience store near Bluebird Avenue caught David's red Tesla parked outside at 3:47 a.m., just days before his tour officially kicked off. In the clip, someone in a dark hoodie walks out of the store carrying cleaning supplies, gloves, and trash bags. Investigators haven't confirmed whether it was David himself or someone in his crew, but come on. That timing is way too perfect to write off as a coincidence. Then comes the biggest tech twist of all: cell tower data. Tech-savvy Redditors managed to trace when David's phone last pinged near that same second property, and the signal matched almost perfectly with the timeline Steve Fisher laid out. That means David's phone, and likely David himself, was in that area right around the time Celeste was believed to have died. So far, police haven't made any public comments about these digital breadcrumbs, but insiders are whispering that this could be the turning point in the entire case. If investigators manage to tie the money transfers, surveillance footage, and GPS data all together, the story David tried so hard to bury might finally come crashing into the light. Everything's starting to point in one direction, and it's not looking good for David Tesla. What's wild is how deep online detectives have gone. They're not just speculating anymore. They've been pulling receipts, screenshots, and real estate records to back up every claim. And when people started matching photos from Celeste's old content, the pieces began to fit together almost too perfectly. Old TikTok lives and screenshots from real estate listings. When fans lined them up side by side, everything matched perfectly. The same sleek kitchen layout, those identical marble countertops, even that distinct bathroom painting where David and Celeste once posed together. It's all there. You can literally overlay the clips and see it. This was the exact same secret property everyone's been whispering about. Now, sure, some people online are trying to say it might have just been an Airbnb. But that doesn't explain why David would go through the trouble of renting a whole other luxury home when he already had a multi-million-dollar mansion. The theory blowing up right now is that this second place wasn't about privacy or vacation. It was a hideout, a quiet spot where David could keep Celeste out of sight and away from the chaos happening at his main house. And here's where it gets bone-chilling. People are realizing Celeste was way younger than the crowd David surrounded himself with. And there's no way she could have lived comfortably in a mansion full of older men, managers, and hangers-on. That's why so many now believe this hidden rental was specifically used to keep her isolated from the public. What's even more disturbing is that if LAPD really hasn't searched that second property yet, there could still be crucial evidence sitting there right now. Evidence that could directly tie David to everything that happened. And honestly, it makes perfect sense why he'd choose a place like that. He wouldn't dare risk damaging his main Beverly Hills mansion's image or market value. Instead, he'd pick somewhere temporary, off the radar, and easy to walk away from once things got messy. And let's not forget, David always had a crew around him, party guests, friends, and so-called assistants who didn't seem to do much except hang out, spend his money, and enjoy the ride. So if he told one of them to move the car or take care of something quietly, they probably just did it. No hesitation, no questions asked. The more people dig, the clearer it's becoming. This wasn't just some messy celebrity scandal. This was a whole operation. And now, it's starting to unravel piece by piece right before our eyes. Just let that sink in for a second, because what's coming out about this case is absolutely wild. Even without an official name for that mystery driver, the fact that Steve Fisher has managed to uncover footage, connect the dots, and possibly identify the person who moved David Tesla's car is massive. That single discovery could be the piece of evidence that finally pushes this entire investigation forward. Right now, police are keeping things locked down tight, which means they're definitely working behind the scenes, probably cross-checking every single detail before this case explodes into the headlines again. But the fact that one private investigator has managed to uncover this much, from the hidden second property to those suspicious payments and shocking footage, is insane. He's doing what the internet's been trying to do for months, except with real access and real proof. And that's exactly why the world can't look away. The deeper people dig, the darker it gets. Every single day, new screenshots, recordings, and clips drop online, each one revealing another layer of the chaos. Everyone's asking the same burning questions now. If Fisher already knows this much, what else is being kept from the public? Could there be more people involved behind the scenes? Could this lead to multiple arrests once the truth finally comes out? One thing's for sure. This case is far from over. And when the full story finally hits, it's going to shake more than just the entertainment world. It's going to raise some serious questions. Who helped? Who stayed silent? And how something this twisted could have stayed hidden for so long without anyone stepping in. So yeah, that's all for today's breakdown. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the next few weeks are about to get crazy. I'll be covering every wild new twist the second it drops. And make sure to tap that next video on your screen for more jaw-dropping celebrity drama and deep dive investigations just like this one. Trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next.